Students have not forgotten in a hurry that on Monday the 23rd of March 2020, the shutters was closed on all academic activities in public universities across the nation, thanks to the never-ending tussle between the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU. Reports have shown that in the last 22 years, the Academic Staff Union of Universities have gone on strike for 15 times and for a cumulative period of over 4 years. Although strikes have become commonplace in the nation, it doesn't get easier each time students are asked to leave school abruptly. During the last strike, which was further compounded by the COVID-19 lockdown, schools were in a limbo for over 10 months. Hence, one can only imagine how difficult it was for students to readjust to the school environs when they returned. Today, over a semester after, we are going around the University of Jos campus to find out from students how the strike and subsequent lockdown affected their first semester results.
My name is Matthew Nyam, a 300 level student of Sociology Department in the Faculty of Social Science. The question is whether COVID-19 affected my performance and my grades. Oh yes, I can say yes, it really affected my grades, my performance. Why? Because the break was much. When we came to school, we find it very difficult to pick up. We needed time so that our brain will recharge again, so that it will start functioning the way it used to be. And very unfortunately, the semester and the number of weeks that was apportioned to the semester was very, very short. Before the brain would pick up, it was exams time already. And we wrote exams, and it was the hardest exam and the hardest experience of my life. Seriously, the exam was not as the usual one that we used to write, and it really affected our grades. In many of the courses that we do score A, B, we end up seeing C, highest 1 or 2 A's. So the truth is that COVID-19 vacation really affect our grades.
My name is Galadima Agom Nyam, a 300 level from the Department of Sociology, Faculty of Social Science. Well, the question you have been able to put forth was whether the COVID-19 have affected my academic or not, my performance or grade. Well, the truth of the matter there is that COVID-19 have been able to contribute a lot of negative effect in my performance and academic, especially my grade, from the real science of the world. In some other developed countries, though the COVID-19 was there, but the truth of the matter there is that school was not shut down for a long period of time. But reverse was the case here in Nigeria. When you look at it, it was a break that happened almost a year, almost 9 months, which is very, very bad. And it affected my grade, affected my performance. And when we resumed, the semester was very, very crash. Very, very crash, and there was a lot of challenges, huge challenges. Those 1 month and exams begins. That's why students were able to bring out a new slang, a new slogan, that kura, that those. That some people were even to say that they should give them the half certificate. Because the truth of the matter there is that it was something different again. Some of us were able to read, we go to lectures, we were able to fathom it again. Because the truth of the matter there is that lectures was back to back. You wake up in the morning, come to school early in the morning by 8. Sometimes you leave the school 6 p.m. You see, it's very, 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 very bad. Because the brain also needs some rest psychologically. Yes, rest is one of the biological drives that demands satisfaction. So you need to have some rest.
My name is Hafsat Abubakar from the Department of Mass Communication, University of Jos. I do agree that the COVID-19, that's the long break combined with the ASU strike with the lockdown, COVID-19 lockdown, really affected my academics because staying at home for a very long time makes the brain to be very dull. And when this last semester results came out, I found out that my result was not very okay. And it was due to the fact that I stayed at home for a very long time.
My name is Joshua Mordecai, student of Islam International Studies. So pertaining the question you asked, like, once you are a student at home, you find it very difficult to read because there are a lot of things at home that can take away attention. So the COVID-19 break really affected me particularly because I spent over 10 months at home, and I had a lot of things at home doing, and I couldn't just look through my book. So it affected me really.
My name is Miriam Suri from the Department of History and International Studies. I think the COVID-19 affected me as a student because when I was at home, I wasn't reading. So I think not reading for a very long time can affect the performance in school because we are not using our brain continuously. We are definitely using the brain for something else. So I think it affected me and my reading capacity. I wasn't reading like the way I did in 100 level. So I think that just it.
Contrary to what students had to say, Mr. Akila Mabas, the examination officer of the Department of Mass Communication, says results were quite impressive.
For you to be able to understand this particular situation, one needs to have a statistics of performance before the COVID-19 and then performance after the COVID-19. On an average, I feel that to a large extent, when you compare statistics, you would discover that the performance even after the COVID-19 was actually better in terms of statistics. What is the statistics? We're talking about the number of those that had A's, number of those who had B's, C's, and then F's. I just tried to compare the courses that were done pre-COVID-19 and then post-COVID-19. So for instance, Mark 101 that was taken in the last session, and then the Mark 101 that was taken in the session or in the current session, you will discover that the percentage failure was actually greater even before the COVID-19. And that's what happens for most of the courses that we have on record, that the performance of students in terms of failure, the percentage of failure was lower compared to the percentage of failure for those students who sat for the same exams before the COVID-19. So, judging by that statistics, it is easier to say that it didn't really affect them negatively. The fact is that the results proves that it didn't affect them negatively. Okay, and some of the factors could be that they probably took out time to read during the break. It gave them more time to reflect on probably their performances, and they need to maybe brace up, And it could also be that lecturers were also lenient in terms of marking, in terms of setting up the questions, understanding that there was a crash program when school resumed, and there was a need to maybe pedal in terms of the marking scheme, So there could be some factors playing out in this whole scenario. These are the facts, okay? But if you would ask me as a teacher, I would tell you that to me it has affected them. There has been a great level of effect, because I recall that stepping into the class after the COVID-19, I asked a series of questions that relate to what we did before we left. The general impression is that it has been forgotten. And apart from that, there's this general redundancy okay, that occupied a lot of students during this long period. I think basically it was around 9-10 months, period of absence in class. And the redundancy was there. They needed a lot of pushing up. They needed a lot of stimulants in the form of maybe assessments, in the form of trying to rush the curriculum for them to be able to come back to the consciousness of a typical classroom setting. So my observation, of course, was that they became a bit slow to learning, but at the end of the day, the results proved that they were better off. Probably all these factors played out to affect their psyche positively. When you look at even the graph, the number of A's, the number of B's, and all that, you will discover that in most instances, it's either that it has been maintained in terms of percentage, or you will find just little or no difference. Maybe just in terms of percentage, you will discover that B's in a previous course taken, that's the last session, might just be 15%, and then in the other one, it could be 16% or 14%. So basically, the performance has been stable. That's what I can say.
It is no doubt that the intermittent strikes in public universities have grave consequences on students, and hence should be forestalled by the federal government and the Academic Staff Union of Universities. I am Emma Ene, reporting for Emma's blog.